And I have to warn you, I'm going to show the picture of when this accident happened. And I'll give you a little warning, so if you're squeamish over blood, you'll have a chance to look away. What's up, everyone? We're here at the Glamis Sand dunes down on the border of Mexico. Nothing but sand. So you probably watched the episode where I came down here and I lost a good friend of mine, and that was a tough episode to get through, but today's episode's a little different. If you've watched any of my videos, you probably noticed that I'm just missing a digit. And this is where it happened, and I'm going to explain to you what happened so that you're no longer curious why one finger is shorter than the other. I have to warn you, I'm going to show the picture of when this accident happened, and I'll give you a little warning, so if you're squeamish over blood and ugly looking things, you'll have a chance to look away. I will give you some notice when that happens. So we were out in the dunes having a good time. It's like any other time we've done it. Cruising along, 6 or 7 of us at the time, I think it was. And if you're not familiar with the dunes, there's this thing called witch eyes, and it's where the sand creates a bowl that you can't really see it until you're on top of it, and you kind of know where they're at if you've been out here a lot. But if you don't know, and you cut a corner just a little bit or something and you drop into a witch eye, it's not good. You're gonna break your car. So we're cruising along having a good time, and one of the cars cut the corner a little bit, drove into a witch eye, and broke the front suspension on the passenger side. We tried to put zip ties on it. We tried to do all kinds of creative things to hold it together, just to try to get it back to camp, and nothing was working. So we decided to pull the winch out and run the winch underneath the car, up over the frame, and down to the front suspension arm. We came to a stop, decided to relocate it. The winch was already so tight that it was tearing the nylon straps within it. And then if you've ever seen behind the sheeting, there's a bunch of these really thin strips of, I don't know what it is. It's just ultra thin, strong stuff. As I reached my hand up in there, I asked the driver to let the winch out to give me some slack to relocate it. And as he did that, in a flash of a second, I reached my hand up into the cable, and as soon as I got my fingers behind it, he flipped the switch and went the other direction and sucked it back in. And it happened in a blink of an eye. And the next thing you know, I'm missing a digit. So we're out in the dunes, way out in the dunes. We're no help, no medical, no nothing. I'm missing the end of my finger, and somebody had ice in a bag, and they brought it over and we wrapped my finger up and put it in ice, and basically, because it severed it so cleanly, it wasn't bleeding. I don't know, I remember squeezing it and holding it, but it wasn't bleeding. It was cut clean off, and we were gonna run to the hospital or get a ride out of there. I go and get a ride out of there, and the trip back just sucked. That's all I can say. Just plain sucked. The wind was blowing, the sand was hitting me everywhere, and I just couldn't get back fast enough. But then once I got back to camp, I had to get a ride into Brawley to the hospital to get surgery on my finger. I remember saying, I know this is kind of a gross thing, but I remember looking back and looking at the winch, and the tip of my finger was still attached to the behind the cable. The tip of my finger was still behind the cable. And I said, I know this is kind of gross, but somebody needs to grab the tip of my finger and put it in a bag of ice. And I remember Doug grabbing it. I don't remember seeing him grab it, but he just come over with a plastic bag, opened up my shirt pocket right here, dropped it in it, and gave it a slap and said, there you go. There you go, buddy. And good luck. So we got a ride back to I got a ride to Brawley, and just before I get to the hospital is when it finally sinks in that the hard part of this journey has just begun, and that everything up to that point was nothing compared to what I'm about to go through. And I can tell you that the pain that I experienced from the time I got to the hospital until I was put to sleep to have the surgery on my finger was exactly what you would think it would feel like to have your finger chopped off. And you can imagine that in your head and just go, what would it feel like to have my finger chopped off? That's exactly what it felt like at that point. I'm going to now show you the before and after. So if you're squeamish, look away. In 3, 2, 1. There's before, and there's after the surgery. And here's today. All better. Still have a lot of tingling feeling in it, and if you tap something with it, it hurts, but it's more like a fidget now. I fidget with it constantly. I don't know why, but I just know, if you've been watching my videos, I'm a curious person. When I see somebody with something like that, I want to know how it happened. And I'm the guy that always thinks everything through, and I always make sure that I'm thinking about all the possibilities whenever I do something. So if anyone in our group, I'm the last person that this should have happened to, and it happened to me. So the moral of that story is, don't ever think that you're exempt from having an accident or danger. Always think everything through, come up with a solution, come up with all the possibilities, and make the right decisions. And this won't happen to you. Every time I come here, that's new, and that's new, and that's new. Every time. They probably have a like a Spenders Anonymous course or something.
Maybe.
So,
Sand addiction, it's called.
Sand addiction, yeah.